This is WP Living with a WordPress theme review, but before I get to the theme review, I wanted to say a couple of things, two announcements. First announcement to anyone watching this, thank you for watching. I really appreciate the support I'm getting. This has been a humble beginning for WP Living. It's a new project, and I'm just really grateful for the support you guys are giving, whether it's watching the videos or checking out the site or following me on social media. Any way you're interacting, that's brilliant. I love it. Thank you. Second thing is a new element on WP Living, a new feature. It's called Ask Me. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Click on the Ask Me link, and it's Ask Me anything about WordPress. Now this is something I'm doing to kind of give something back to the WordPress community. I've been a long time user of WordPress, and I've had help from many people over the years who have pointed me in the right direction, given me advice on coding, on themes, and so on. And I wanted to kind of share that back with the community. So it's simple. It's a Q&A page. If you've got a question of anything about WordPress, type your question here, add your email because I'll respond to you by email. And then if it's a question that's going to benefit the wider community, I'll also post it here. You can see there are already 2 questions, and each question links to my answer. And here's an example of 1 question and 1 answer. You can also rate the question here and the answer. And that's basically it. That's Ask Me anything about WordPress. Check it out and fire away with any questions. Alright, let's get down to business. Viva Themes is the company I'm looking at, and the theme I'm going to review is called Function. Let's just take a very short look at the feature set, and that won't take too much time because, as you can see, the presentation page itself is very basic. But Function is a professional business WordPress theme. It's focused on content. You can use the theme to showcase products, services. It has a portfolio template, a blog template, custom typography, so you can manipulate the fonts, which is nice, and then a range of other features including custom menu, an admin panel, very basic one but nonetheless very useful, change the background colors and design, custom shortcodes, threaded comments, and a few other things. So in a nutshell, that is the essence of Function, but let's see how it actually performs, how it works. Just before that though, a quick note about the price point. It's being sold for $45. It's not the cheapest of WordPress themes, but it's by no means on the high end of price points either. So with all the themes from this company, the general sense I get is that the company produces, they just go straight for the kill. They just produce simple, functional, practical themes. This is not a company that does bells and whistles and bling. They're just there for the basics, and I think there's quite a good user base for that. And if you're looking for something simple that just works, this may well be for you. But let's see how Function works and whether it's going to work for you or for me. With all these reviews, I highlight stuff I like, and then I highlight things I like less. I'm just going to point you to 2 or 3 things that I like here. And the first is the composition. I'm the kind of guy who likes shapes. I like visual data. You can get a lot through just looking at shapes. It will tell you about the layout, about the proportion of things, about what's important and what's not. And when you're choosing a new theme, you've got to kind of take that into consideration. What do I want my audience to see first? What's most important about my company or my interest that I'm using, that I'm showcasing on my website, that I want my audience to see? And this is a type of design that's kind of cut out with box shapes, rectangular shapes, that allows you to balance and play with the emphasis of focus, and I like that quite a bit. Another thing I quite like is this modular front page element. It's not a slider, it's a click box, and you click the box and it changes the post, and then you can access the blog post. It's basically a featured post module, if you like. I was expecting it to be a portfolio module, in fact, so I was waiting for a pop-up image to come, but it didn't. It just changes subtly the text here. It would be nice to see other slider options. Now there may well be other sliders included, though it wasn't clear on the presentation page. It does say here, however, that there is a slider, front page content slider, but I don't see this as sliding. Anyhow, there is then at the bottom an extended footer area which is widgetized, and you can see here the fonts that they talk about, being able to change fonts. These fancy fonts, which I'm not too fond of, to be honest, those can be changed in the admin panel, so you can set up the font styles to suit your taste. Moving on, there is a portfolio page. Again, it's very simple, very straightforward, and you click an image and it takes you to a single post. It doesn't give you a pop-up image like a lot of portfolios do. It takes you to a single blog page which can double up as a portfolio page. And here you have another widgetized area, and you can basically describe your portfolio project. So the blog looks very similar to this, and if we click on a single post, you get added comments here. Very basic layout, again, no bells and whistles, just functional stuff. And to be honest, that's about the extent of this theme. There really is little more than that to report about. So it's clearly being geared towards a small company, perhaps an individual even. It's a sort of theme that you could populate with content very quickly and get it up and running very quickly. And that's one of the things Viva Themes likes to pride itself with. Basically, they develop themes that kind of work out of the box. And even though I have kind of different thoughts about that idea of something working out of the box, for me, you always need time to develop a theme, even if it's a paid theme. You have to mold it to your needs, and it takes time to basically to learn how to use the theme. But anyhow, that's what they're kind of doing, simple themes that work like that. And that's the end of this review. If you like these reviews, if you want to see more, follow me on Twitter, follow me on YouTube, subscribe, and Facebook as well. There's a Facebook page for WP Living. And yeah, get in touch, and thanks for watching, and catch you next time. Okay, bye-bye.